Listen here. This brooch was left here by an unseen guest. No footsteps, no cloak draped over a chair. Just gone. But look at these markings. They are similar to those found on Aos Sí mounds in Ireland. So if these so-called fair folk really do exist, are these ancient spirits the departed souls of old gods, lost warriors? Or perhaps they are a different race entirely. Tonight, my friends, we delve into the story of the Aos Sí, the supernatural watchers of the Emerald Isle. And by the end we will ask, if they were here before mankind, then upon whose land do we truly walk? Settle in, friends. This is no bedtime story. It is an ancient tale that might still echo amongst the mounds and standing stones of the homeland. Now, I've found runic patterns similar to these in what folks would call the Aos Sí Tumuli, the burial mounds. Some claim that these mounds disguise gateways to other worlds. So the question then becomes, are these the resting places of our long-dead ancestors, gateways for ghosts to enter our world, or are they doorways for still living fae? Now, this brooch is tarnished with age, so if an unseen guest left it for us, it begs the question, does that which still roams among us belong to spirits of the long dead, or guardians from an older realm? Let's trace their legend, shall we? Now, according to some Celtic myths and legends, the Aos Sí were actually descended from the Tuatha De Danann, some of Ireland's most ancient gods and ancestors. And after being bested in battle by the Gaels and the Malaysians, they retreated beneath the hills and the Sidhe, the burial mounds, becoming the little people beneath the mounds. And other people say that they were originally gods, but with time, folk belief labeled them fairies and spirits. And then there is the notion that they are neither gods nor spirits, but an otherworldly race, living parallel to ours, coming forth on special nights like Samhain and Belting, and then vanishing before dawn. And that's just one strand of the tale. They're not dead, they're just hidden, overshadowed by Christian retellings that turn them into fallen angels or restless souls. But let's see where else this story leads. Some medieval monks claimed that the Aos Sí were fallen angels, neither damned nor saved, wandering the threshold of the earth, hence their ephemeral nature. And another popular claim is that they were the trapped souls of pagan ancestors, stuck in a sort of purgatory. And yet, still, some local laws claim that they were never human beings at all, but an ancient and immortal race, completely separate from humanity, protectful or vengeful depending on how we treat the land. And if these engravings are indeed significant of an older god's iconography, maybe these so-called fairies are just distant echoes of godhood, clinging to our mortal lands. But the question still remains, does that make them our ancient ancestors? Or does that make them our dethroned pantheon? Here's an interesting snippet. Near Newgrange, I discovered similar swirl patterns carved deep inside the passage graves. Locals whispered that on Samhain's Eve, lights flickered from under the hill and the music drifts on the wind. Yet no human foot enters or leaves. Are these footsteps of the Aos Sí, or rising spirits of the ancient dead? That's the question, isn't it? The lines that were found in these graves are very similar to the ones here on this silver brooch, a mimic of swirls found in a great many burial mounds. Signs of a culture predating modern Ireland, bridging the living and the departed. So perhaps this brooch is something of a gift, a token or a warning of a still watchful presence. In recent years, Celtic scholars have argued that the Aos Sí are a leftover remnant of Christian scholars forcing the Celtic gods underground. And anthropologists find parallels to this in Norse culture with the Alfar, and in Greek culture with the nymphs and the sylphs, nature spirits that are half divine, half other. Meanwhile, Christian scholars insisted they might be cursed souls or illusions brought about by the devil to lure men to their doom. No single answer emerges from these texts of the king's men. The answer remains as elusive as those fair folk are. But that's the beauty of these tales, my friends. They blend faith and fear, all together in remnants of older worships and practices and traditions. So let's take a minute to think about the deeper meaning of all of this. If the Aos Sí are indeed the ancient dead, their presence suggests that the land is still inhabited by ancestral spirits. If they are dethroned gods, that implies that the land once answered to them, and that humankind is simply borrowed it. Some legends say that mistreatment of the earth angers them. Curses and calamity will follow. Others say offering bread and milk will make your cattle thrive. So is it a tradition bridging the living and the once mighty dead? Or is it a sign that we cohabitate with a race that was never truly gone? Regardless of who they truly are, ancient warriors, dethroned gods, or spirits of the land, the Aos Sí remain a riddle older than any of our written histories. And if they were in fact here before us, the question then remains, upon whose land do we truly walk? So my friends, raise a glass to mysteries unsolved, to echoes of older worlds, and to the gleam of a silver brooch left behind by an unseen guest. Stay bloodthirsty, traveler, for stories that keep us wandering, for realms unseen, and for ghosts or gods that may still walk these hills. Sláinte, my friends, and I'll see you for the next one.